Hi, this is John-Hope-Bryant, founder, chairman, and chief executive officer of Operation Hope, speaking to mayors and city council members, county officials, and state officials, and those leading tribal governments throughout the United States of America. I'm speaking to you today in my capacity as chairman of the subcommittee on the underserved and community empowerment for U.S. President's Advisory Council on Financial Capability under President Barack Obama. My subcommittee represents the interests of approximately 100 million Americans, and I'm so honored to be playing this modest role in the greater legacy and work of President Barack Obama. This council is chaired by John Rogers, who is a noted and respected businessman who has not only a reputation for giving back, but has put his money where his mouth is by creating a financial literacy centric school in the city of his home birth, Chicago. So all of this work is about setting the right framework, but it's also about moving the right action. So PhDs are good, but PhDs are even better. In that regard, we are setting the framework, working with the partnership subcommittee, and my friend Carrie Schwab-Pomerantz, who chairs that subcommittee, and the U.S. Treasury Department, Office of Consumer Policy, the folks who deal with financial capability, Melissa Corday and Louisa Quidman and others in that department who have made such an incredible impact on our nation. With our last report given to the President this January 2013 being one of those accomplishments. The Subcommittee on Partnership, the Subcommittee on Community Empowerment have created a guide for local governments to create their own local financial literacy councils. This, I believe, will be a lasting legacy for President Barack Obama and, frankly, a lasting legacy for you and your local leaders. This is policy made real. There are approximately 120 local financial literacy council commitments to date under this council and with the subcommittee's actions that have used this opportunity to stand up a local operational council. The vision is to appoint 12 local leaders, and I'm thinking now, this is just my suggestion, the head of your school board, the head of your school district, say the superintendent. If you're living in a small town, the largest banker in town, the CEO of the largest bank in town, the CEO of the largest credit unions in town. Whether you're in a large or small township or city, thinking now the largest employer in town, the CEO or someone from the C-suite. Thinking about whoever handles human resources for the city or municipality that you now work for, because we should start with empowering your own employees. I'm thinking about whoever handles Bank On, the initiative to move people from unbanked to banked in your town, city, or municipality, or, as I said, Native American reservation. According to the FDIC report on the unbanked and underbanked, there are approximately 40 million unbanked and underbanked in this country, or 8%, conservatively 8% of the U.S. population, even more so when you add in the underbanked numbers. So it is a crisis, it is a problem for everyone. This is not about those people. It's certainly not about minorities or poor blacks or poor Latinos, because there's poor whites in America there are more poor whites in America than poor anybody else. And if you're middle class today, increasingly you feel poor. Middle class used to be one parent working and one parent staying home as a domestic engineer. Today, it's two parents working, but you feel like you're not making any more money, and it feels like the struggle has gotten worse. So from the middle class to the underserved, the working poor, the poor, we're all in this mess together, and we need a vision made real to get us out of it. So the Bank On coordinator would be key. The Earned Income Tax Credit Coordinator, EITC, for the same reasons I just noted. The struggling middle class and below would be key. This is $50,000 or less. Anybody making $50,000 or less qualifies for Earned Income Tax Credit, and approximately 1 out of 4 Americans who qualify for EITC never ask for it. It's about $10 billion a year that goes back to the federal treasury and disappears into the federal government because those who make $50,000 or less may not have a financial planner or a CPA. No one to give them advice and counsel, so it's what they don't know that they don't know that's killing them. And so while we're out there begging for this and that benefit, the reality is you have earned dignity. You have earned the right to ask for an EITC refund by working. If you're a mother of two, you work as a teacher in a small town, let's say you make I'm going to make this up, $25,000, $26,000 a year, just to give you some framework here. You have two children. You probably qualify for a $4,000, $3,000 or $4,000 EITC refund. If you have never filed for EITC, it is retroactive for 3 years. That's between $9,000 and $12,000 cash that gets wired back into your bank account, unbanked to banked, within 30 days because you, as the local municipal leader, put together this council, empowered EITC in your district, focused on the unmet needs in your areas, and helped those who make $50,000 or less, including those who work for your government, to get the EITC they deserve. $9,000 to $12,000 is enough money to cure a mortgage that's gone bad, to pay for a default on a car that is being sought for repossession. Is enough money to send your kid to a city college or a state college possibly. Maybe even put a big dent in a mainstream tuition payment for 2013. But it's more money than any working family making $40,000 or less has probably seen at one time in their life. It's enough to reset your life. Put some aside for investment as well. Pay yourself first and move your life forward. These are just some examples. EITC, bank on, largest employers, largest bank, largest credit union, certainly those from the school district, the school board. Get creative about what's applicable and appropriate for your community. I would even argue the emergency manager in your city, municipality, district, county, tribal region should be included in this council. FEMA Administrator Fugate told me that the #1 reason why people don't recover from disaster is poverty and or money financial issues. So FEMA is now dealing with financial case management, restructuring people, helping to restructure people's lives in times of disaster. The organization that I founded actually works with FEMA and the Red Cross in this regard. We're doing that with Hurricane Sandy right now. We did it with Hurricane Katrina before. But there are a range of nonprofit and other organizations that can be helpful to you right in your area if we don't have an office there, and you should empower them to help. But certainly the emergency manager should be on this proposed council, or at least be considered for such. None of this is a directive. None of this is designed to tell you what to do. Obviously, we are simply set in place as the council to provide the President and the Secretary of the Treasury with national policy recommendations. This is some ideas for you as you move on your local council to make that real for your people. I'd encourage you from the time of commitment to stand it up with an executive order or whatever is the instrument of policy making in your area within 90 days so it doesn't lag. Issue your own press release. Let the Treasury Department, the White House know you're doing it. Let me know you're doing it. If we can amplify it, we will. We'll help to encourage and promote. Ask one of the council members to come out to be part of your celebrations and your announcements. Issue quarterly or semi-annual reports on your progress, your results in your local area. Try to bake in financial literacy as a requirement in your school districts, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And annually issue a report at the very least on your performance metrics so that we can feed that back up to our research committee. I'm sure the President will be proud to know that you are moving on this, if you take action on this, in your local area, and that we can create not 115 councils, but ultimately more than 1,000 councils throughout this nation, ultimately having an association of local councils, which will ultimately help to drive national policy, create a constituency for financial literacy and financial dignity and financial capability in this country, moving that to GDP, jobs, entrepreneurship, and a growing economy for America, and baking in financial literacy as a new norm for a new generation. Maybe this crisis that we're experiencing now, this economic crisis, will never happen again. Because when you know better, you do better. Consumer protection is important. Richard Cordray is doing a great job at CFPB, but I've told him, if we are successful in our movement, people should need less consumer protection because they've got more consumer empowerment. There's not going to be a mortgage police at your home when you're making the most important decisions of your family's life with a 30-year mortgage. He agreed. Financial literacy and financial capability is a new civil rights issue. Be the change you want to see in the world. Create a local council and make a difference right where you stand. Thank you, and may God bless.